making up a song about copyright.
Welcome to 5 Great Villain Songs, where we talk about one villain song from each of the 5 categories: non-Disney movies, theater, TV shows, video games, and fan-made. These are not ordered in any way and will release a volume every month. Feel free to let me know what other songs you want me to talk about in a future volume. In the meantime, enjoy the show.
And the whole world has to answer right now to tell you once again who's bad.
Picture this: Tim Curry as a muscular black cloud of smoke, singing sexy jazz about fossil fuels.
Strange, isn't it?
Hardly. It's not the first time.
Wow, you really get around.
But yeah, what you just pictured is the villain song sung by Hexus, Tim Curry's character in the 1992 animated children's film FernGully, The Last Rainforest. It's a pretty heavy-handed and cliche eco-fiction love story, but it's got some good animation for the time, cute character interactions, and some pretty decent musical numbers. Yes, even Robin Williams rapping as a bat is kinda goated, but easily the best musical number in the movie is Toxic Love. For some context, Hexus is an entity that represents pollution and is believed to be the one responsible for wiping out all humans. Magi, the leader of the fairy tribe, sealed Hexus away in a tree, never to be seen again. Too bad the humans still want to level entire forests, as that's what ultimately releases Hexus from his wooden binds. He infiltrates the leveler and begins to serenade this machine with a sensual jazz number that only the deep voice of Tim Curry can do justice.
Oh, that's rather nice.
Toxic Love sings a type of love that is just as toxic as the one shared by couples like Andrew and Ashley. A love of global warming. It's a kind of seductive serenade that makes rich oil tycoonists weak at the knees. It's actually kind of comedic that this song about fossil fuels is written so romantically. For those not in the know, the movie version of Toxic Love actually isn't the full version. The reason for that is...
a special kind of horny.
Yeah, that would have lost the G rating. Innuendos aside, there is actual commentary to be had within this song, all sung through Curry's luscious voice and easily the best instrumentation in the movie. You could argue that Toxic Love is another contributor to FernGully's overall preachiness, and yeah, it is. But the song is so indicative of what's being talked about today in regards to climate change and how corporate greed fuels it. And yes, like a lot of eco-films, it hyper-focuses on one big contributor rather than, but it's all done through a voice acting titan that you kinda don't care that it's not super nuanced. The only people I can think of who wouldn't be turned on by this song are folks like Bill Nye and Al Gore. For everyone else, however, Toxic Love is a number that I, our children, and our children's children will appreciate for years to come. In 1967, comedy film giant Mel Brooks gave us The Producers. This black comedy tells of Max Ballystock, a crooked Broadway producer, and Leo Bloom, a mousy accountant, trying to scam their way into fortune with a Broadway flop. In 2001, the movie was turned into a full-blown musical, and a dang fun one too. Honestly, the original is a timeless classic, but I think the story works a little better as a musical. Apparently someone at Universal thought the same thing too, as the story was adapted again. This time as a musical film in 2005. Now, a harebrained scheme like this is pretty expensive, so how are Max and Leo gonna raise the money? Oh. Of the duo, Max is clearly the more depraved one. He swindles money from little old grannies with romantic dates and dirty games. Lots of, dirty games. And with a project this big, he plans to launch himself into little old lady land. And he does so with a waltz. Yeah, I don't think I need to spell out why this is wrong. In Max's eyes, he's offering these frail grannies the love and attention they desperately need on their last leg of life. And if he just happens to make a hefty buck on the side, then everyone's happy, right? Plus, he's just so charismatic that it's child's play for him. So obviously, we know what he's doing is morally bankrupt. What do his victims think of all this? Well, they seem happy. I honestly don't know if that makes this worse or not. Okay, this might be the odd one out as it's more about sex than romance, but it's just plain nuts. It's vulgar, it's twisted, it's absurd, it's unapologetically fun. Between the silly lyrics, the mesmerizing music, and the insane dance sequence when all the widows become a chorus line, it's everything you'd want from a Mel Brooks musical, all culminating in a massive reprise of nearly every song in the first act. Another one of Brooks' movies, Young Frankenstein, got the musical treatment as well. If it's anything like the producers, I wouldn't mind seeing it get the film adaptation treatment also.
Mongrel.
Puppet show darling in BBC's own South Park. While Mongrels didn't take off quite as much, the eccentric British raunchiness and ridiculously good musical numbers did garner it a strong cult following. Strong enough to get its own SFM parodies even, which is likely how a lot of non-Brits found this show. And in this joyous month of love, what better song from this show to talk about than the one about the pros of domestic abuse? In the first episode of Season 2, Destiny, the bitch character, found a hot dog, actual dog. She managed to hook him in as her partner, which impressed her fellow doggy peers. So she endows them with all the ways of catching and maintaining a partner. And as expected, the solution is giving your boyfriend a taste of that tough love. For these deranged dogs, nothing says a good relationship like physically and mentally abusing their boyfriends until they submit to good old Stockholm Syndrome. Like minorities in South Park, the hilarity in this song comes from just how professionally over the top and mean it is. The upbeat music and Lucy Montgomery's singing had no business going this hard, but that's why it works. Fun fact, a good amount of songs in Mongrels tend to parody other songs with a similar style. In this case, it's Smile by Lily Allen. Yeah, if you know what that's about, the inspiration is definitely not lost here. Fortunately, we're not supposed to root for Destiny. She gets her fun cut short as the SPCA did end up taking the male dogs away. The shocking toxic couple satire almost makes you forget this episode's actual plot is the espionage edition of A Fox and the Hound. Okay, so that last segment was a wee bit cruel, but hey, we got an anime visual novel for the video game segment. Should be wholesome, right? Oh. Doki Doki Literature Club is a game that made waves on the internet by being a cutesy anime visual novel that turns into an existential nightmare. I'll admit that I thought this game was kinda overrated, and let's not kid ourselves, it's kinda fallen from grace since its release. Like, the latest content we got was just glorified DLC that cost $15 for a free game. But easily the most iconic part of Doki Doki is its characters, especially Monika, who's basically Flowey if he was a yandere. Throughout the game, she deletes the rest of the girl's character files so that you can end up with her. Eventually, her plan succeeds, but you can play at this fourth wall breaking game, delete Monika's character file, and she disappears. But she's not mad at you for long. She realizes that she allowed her own selfishness to corrupt her. Get it? Like a corrupted file? And out of love for you, she brings everyone in the literature club back apart from herself. But it didn't work. It did not work. Realizing that this endless cycle of torture and death will never end, she deletes everything forever, but not without sending the player off with one last serenade.
Every day, I imagine a future where I can be with you.
Your reality plays over the game's end credits, and it's a bittersweet summary of Monika's journey of falling in love with you, but realizing that being with the player is simply not possible. It's a very sweet sounding song, if a little bit twisted.
The ink flows down into a dark puddle. Just move your hand right the way into his heart.
Yeah, Monika's serenade may sound sweet and sincere, but she still technically killed 3 other girls to get the ending she wanted. Sure, the other 3 girls were just programmed to be attracted to the player, but that didn't stop Monika from seeing them as competition. So she did what she had to do to get the happy ending she wanted.
And if this world won't write me an ending, what will it take just for me to have it all?
But despite having everything she ever wanted, you and her forever, Monika realizes that if she truly loves you, she needs to let you have a choice. Despite deleting her, she still loves you and she wants you to be happy. She wants everyone to be happy. But there's no happiness to be found in the literature club. Only an endless cycle of torment for both the girls and the player.
If I can't hear the sound of your heartbeat, what do to love you. I'll leave you be.
Listening to this song reminds me of a more stripped-down version of Shoes of Glass from Saya no Uta, which we talked about earlier. Monica, similar to Fuminori and Saya, is forced to realize that her insatiable desire to have the player for herself made her into a far worse person, and the only option was to allow herself to be erased from existence and let you go. But don't worry, Monica, you still have simps on the internet that won't let you die. Seriously, have you seen the mods for this game? I'm actually impressed.
Now watch us play our part. Now watch us dance and sing. Don't want to fall apart like kids who never seem to scream.
Did you ever wake up and think that there would be a boy band fan song for classic slasher movies? No? Well, here you go. Slasher parody boy band the Slashstreet Boys, I could not make that up if I tried, usually do, well, parodies of other pop tunes, modifying the lyrics to fit the classic baddies of the horror genre. Those are all great, but in 2022, they released their first completely original piece, Love to Die. Starring the ultimate icons of Ghostface, Mike Myers, Freddy Krueger, Leatherface, and Jason Voorhees, Love to Die is a comically flirtatious homage to the boy band music of the early 2000s, attempting to be alluring with the idea of dying to the knives of the slashers. It's so ridiculous, but it's so clever, and it's a banger. I think something pop fangirl just happened to me. This style of music is not the first thing you would think of when imagining music from serial killers. Maybe you'd expect grandiose, horrific church organs or ominous tones that sound straight out of Dead Space. Heck, maybe even classical music. But creativity and subverting expectations is something Love to Die does better than most. Besides, each and every one of these guys indulge in delightful murder as much as these exaggeratedly romanticized lyrics would make you believe. Ain't it fun? Don't you love to die? Oh, I get it.
Girl, don't try to run. Babe, don't try to hide. There's only one thing left that you can do tonight.
Wow, talk about bloodlust. Oh, come on, I'm allowed to make dad jokes now. I'm a dad! Anything by some metrosexual boy band has got to be qualified as a love song. I think it's meant to be taken about as seriously as any of the music it mimics. Trite and ridiculous on the surface, but enthralling and detailed to those willing to play it on loop. I feel like the idea of fan music is often associated with animation or games. It's always a treat when something different gets that treatment. For such dark villains, the unsuspecting genre and nature of the song make it more comical and lighthearted, while still maintaining that bad boy air. Ladies, if a man brings his friends to sing a song he wrote,
Just for you.
just double check his lyrics to make sure he's not leading you to your knife demise. Stay safe.
Hey everyone, this is Josh. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share the video around. Please check out my other social media like my Twitter, Twitch, and Tumblr. Check out my other channels such as Joshua Burner for reactions and other stuff, Dragon Fighter Gaming for tabletop, and Bob Equestria for cartoons. Consider checking below the video and donating to my Patreon, Streamlabs for my merchandise, or becoming a YouTube member. Thanks for watching.